Hey, it's Kane Minkus from Industry Rockstar, the #1 global business training company in Kane and Alessia. And it is totally my honor and privilege today to be interviewing a gentleman that we have great respect for, so much respect for him that he is currently our private coach, someone helping us continue to grow after, as we tell you, you always need coaches and great mentors. And we're very excited to be working with this gentleman, Scott Hallman. Thank you, Scott, for joining us. We're very excited
Oh,
to have
yeah.
you here.
Thank you. I'm really excited as well.
And, as always, we're going to jump in with Scott, and he's going to be sharing his brilliance. But let me just give you a little context as to who he is so you know why you're listening to him. Even though he looks like a very normal human being, he really should be wearing a cape and flying in. So Scott has built two national companies from the ground up in the States, in America. He's been on the Inc. 500 fastest growing privately held companies twice. So he's been just zooming with his companies, and he built a company from 0 to 85 million. How fast was it though, Scott?
But 21 months. It was yeah, turbocharged.
So he's just a slow guy, basically, right? And it was valued at nearly $1 billion. And also, Scott is a top, not only top coach, but he also coaches top executives, CEOs, business owners, and celebrity thought leaders, and has worked with the likes of people like Tony Robbins, Steve, who's the gentleman I'm thinking of?
Stephen Bill Harrison,
Stephen
probably.
Bill Harrison, yes, and also maybe a couple other fun thought leaders that you've worked with that you can.
Yannick Silver's a client.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yes, good. And the incredible Kane and Alessia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Last but certainly not least.
Cool. So Scott, I wanted to spend some time with you because your genius is really about optimizing businesses. I think this is among the smaller businesses, because I know you coach everybody from 300 million plus companies, well, huge companies, down to small businesses, and I think this is a topic that is greatly under examined in a small business, which is so important because small business should be looking at how to be incredibly profitable. It's very important that they're optimized, but yet I don't think a lot of them understand how to do that. So I was hoping today we could shed some real light and some systems and some techniques about how a small business owner can understand how to optimize their business.
Preaching to the choir.
Okay,
Preaching to the
great.
choir.
So that's where we'll start. And then also, I thought it'd be greatly interesting since your clientele is really everything from small businesses to large businesses, to talk a little bit about how you lead generate for top executive clients, for bigger businesses. A lot of our clients are looking to reach out to them to do joint venture partners. We have everybody from coaches and consultants in our catalog of clients to large infrastructure companies that are trying to reach them. So I just thought we'd go there too.
Yeah, cool.
So let's kick it off, and I'm going to hand it over to you at this point to say, where do you start with optimization? How do you even define optimization? What is it? What have you devoted your life to? And I know
Yeah.
nowadays you are helping other business owners in your passion. So what is this all about, and how does someone start to think about optimization?
Yeah, it's really good. So, the first thing is optimization. I'm not talking about SEO optimization. It's a whole different thing. It's really about how do you take this asset? You invest in marketing, you invest in sales, converting those leads into customers, clients, patients, or members. And at the end of the day, there's a cost to that. There's a cost to acquiring those customers. And there's a series of steps, or what I call profit drivers, that a business goes through, every business goes through, even though they're different, in order to arrive at I've maximized my leads and I take them down the funnel and I convert them to a customer. And I call each of those steps a profit driver, each measurable step. And now you have them as a customer, and you have a whole series of steps that we go through to maximize the transactional value of those clients or customers over time. And once again, each of those steps, which I'll talk about more in detail later, represent a profit driver. So when I talk about optimization, when I was building my company, my very first company, I had no money. Nobody would give me any money. I didn't have a relative who had any money, and I didn't
This is
believe in.
a common starter story, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I didn't believe in robbing a bank or a store or anything else. So I started out, and we began growing really, really quickly, and I didn't have any money. So the thought occurred to me is, what if I could optimize what I'm currently doing to literally generate the cash I needed to be able to grow my business? So optimization means that you take a look at start with what you're currently doing, the steps in your marketing and sales process, which is where we focus, and say, how can I make small, incremental, realistic, by the way, improvements in each of the steps? So if I can if I'm spending X number of dollars on generating leads and I can just get a 3%, some boring little number increase from 1,000 leads to 1,030, that's optimization. And you do that throughout the series of steps in the process. And what's amazing, the amazing thing that happens is it creates this compounding effect. And I'll end this segment by saying that for most businesses, if they can identify just 10 little steps or profit drivers in their marketing, sales funnel, and customer maximization steps, they can increase their profitability, most of them 25 to 100% or more. That's optimization to me.
Yeah, no, that's very significant, and I'm going to highlight some things that you're saying, and also put them into some different systems and things that we can draw out here. So the first thing I think you just said, which was really important, is that optimization is a set of these little tweaks. And I think a lot of business owners are often looking for us as mentors. Sometimes I hear, they're looking for the big magic. Where's the big switch that when I pull it, the money starts falling out of the ceiling, right? I want to just hear your thoughts on this, which I think you're saying, which is that optimization, actually getting more money out of your business and more success, is tweaking a little bit all along these steps because you create this massive impact from all these little tweaks. Is that about right?
It is actually right. And when I hear, I've started laughing as I think about, this industry has been fraught with everybody wants to give that magic bullet. Here's all you do. The W word, by the way, which is called work, effort, a little bit of elbow grease. Yeah, just don't say that.
Yeah, right.
I go, really? Is that how you build a business that's making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars or more and build your wealth?
Yeah.
So, it takes a little bit of elbow grease. Now, so when you're swinging at the fences like that, I've watched more people, and I know you have as well. They come to us and the stories are they've swung far too many times for the home runs of the grand slams, and they're now flat broke because it didn't work.
Yes.
And it's not a smart business decision. You're right. So this thing of optimization, Bill Harrison actually coined it as, Scott, you're all about the boring way to riches. I said, I kind of like that.
Right. Yes. So, okay, now you said something early on about customer acquisition cost, and we teach that there's always sort of two really critical numbers. There's a lot of good numbers to look at in your business, but if they look at nothing else, there's two really critical numbers that we teach. I just want to hear your thoughts on this because you mentioned one, which is this customer acquisition cost. So for everyone listening, just to make it easy, customer acquisition cost is simply the cost of what it costs you to get a customer. And in my experience, I'm always shocked by how many business owners actually have no idea how much it costs, especially if they're not doing like a click campaign online where they can actually get the feedback, in their analytics measured how much it costs them. If they're service professionals and that kind of thing. And the other thing that we say that's really important is lifetime value of your customer, and the balance between these numbers is critical. So do you want to just speak a little bit, because I think those could create some fundamentals of saying, well, where am I expending a lot to get a customer, and how do I increase the value of that customer? How do you look at those two things?
So the first thing is, I think that there's this propensity to look at the cost per lead. And although it's a valuable metric, it's a dangerous metric because all leads are not created equal. And at the end of the day, it's how you bring them down the funnel and convert them. So you can have a cost per lead of $5 and feel really well. But if you haven't optimized your steps or your process, by the way, whether it's a funnel online or it's just the process you go through informally as a business that's not online, if you don't optimize those, the $5 lead can become $50 a customer, or it can become $500. Mm-hmm. And so knowing this number, which by the way, 99% of the people that come to me don't know how to calculate this. You're the exception. But is your cost per customer acquisition is absolutely critical. Let me show you what I teach people, which is, what do we do with that number? So now we know it's $200 to acquire a customer. So you've heard some great trainers. I won't mention them because I'm going to do a little bit of a negative twist on this. Talk about, well, look, what you want to do is you want to spend until you get to your lifetime value of your customer. So the lifetime value is X number of dollars. We want to spend up to that. That's called break even. And I go, that's called bankrupt for most businesses because they don't have the cash flow to fund it, right? So I'm dishing out, $3,000 or $4,000 a week to generate leads and convert customers that aren't going to actually begin paying me for 30, 60, 90 days. And, you run out of money. So what we say is, look, the very first thing you do is you take this metric called customer acquisition cost of $200, And the first question you ask yourself is, what has to happen for me to recoup that? So what do I generate on the first sale? And then once I get comfortable with that, I can say, wow, I'm now making some money. Now I'm going to reinvest even further and determine what I generate in the first month, and then what I generate in the first 3 months. And ultimately, when you get to that stage where you have the silo filled and you can market for that lifetime value, you're now almost unstoppable because your competitors won't be able to do it.